So in this video, it's going to be a little bit different. No more 38-minute long videos, hopefully. I'm going to try and keep them a little bit shorter because nobody wants to listen to me babble for 38 minutes. And I also apologize for the last video, the audio. There was some issues. I think it was because my camera's not working. I'm having to do this on my phone. And, you know, the longer the video, the more it processes. And I don't know what happened there, but I'm not an audio engineer. So on this video, I had a conversation with a coworker of mine, and she had an incident today, actually, and she was asking on concealed carry firearms, so a smaller frame, something she can carry comfortably, but will be effective how she needs it. So when she said that, of course, it came to mind. I'm not much of a handgun person. I prefer rifles, but I do have a little bit of knowledge in handguns, and maybe I could pass that on. So when it comes to handguns, there's two calibers that really come to mind for small frame individuals, and that carry enough power. Now, like just with rifles, the list of calibers can go on, but the two that really come to mind is mainly the 9mm and the 38 Special. You know, and there you can see the difference. Hold on, I'll do this a little better. You can see the difference there. You know, side by side, you get an idea. And believe it or not, the bullets are very similar in diameter. I believe a 38 Special in millimeters is actually 9.1 or 9, obviously 9mm. So there are different rounds. You know, you also have the 45 ACP, but that's a big one. That's going to have a lot more recoil than either of the other two rounds. You know, there's 380. 380 will do the job too, and there's even 22. They make small 22s now. And I'm going to say this, so when it comes to defending yourself, I don't care who you are, you get shot in the face with a pellet rifle, you're going to get a point across. Now, you might not kill nobody, but, you know, and when it comes to that, there's a whole psychological aspect that comes into it. Nobody wants to kill anybody. You know, that's not the whole point of this. The point is to keep yourself alive in a situation where someone wants to do you harm. And, you know, that being said, you want to carry a weapon, know all the laws and regulations, and, you know, don't go out looking for trouble, obviously. So, with that said, 9mm, they typically come in a semi-auto, you know, platform. That is the popular. I mean, there are 9mm revolvers, you know, and we can discuss that at another time. But so here is my 9mm. All right, it is unloaded. All my weapons have been unloaded. I'm not going to sit here and play in my house with a loaded one, but just for everybody's peace of mind, this is a 9mm. This is not a compact. I do not have a compact 9mm. This is a Smith & Wesson Sd9. It's basically the same thing as a Glock, but half the price. Now, with the semi-automatic, they have certain advantages. So most of this carries 16 in the magazine. And they are magazine fed. They are semi-automatics. When you put the magazine in, you rack the chamber, you fire, it kicks out the old shell and loads the new round, the live round. So, and when you're run out of ammo, the slide will hold to the rear just like that. Now, the great thing about these is they do carry a lot of ammunition, and they are very fast to reload. You run out of rounds, you slide locks to the rear, you hit the button on the side, magazine drops, take new magazine, load it in, and you can rack the chamber, or there is a little thing right there, a little switch on the side of it, that when it's pressed, slide closes, it loads the round into the chamber. Makes reloading very fast. That's why people like these. The one issue I have with these is jamming. So if you're new, if you're watching this, you're relatively new to weapons, and you're not going to want to carry one in the chamber. Now, legality and all that aside, safety concerns on that, you know, I don't trust the safety. I do not rely on a safety, so I don't carry with one in the chamber, and that's an age-old argument. Everybody wants to argue it, but just for the sake of argument, you know, an issue or a situation arises where you have to draw your weapon, okay? When you pull it out of the holster, the first thing you're going to have to do is rack it. And then let it go, and I did that gently. But let it go, and it's going to push the next round into the chamber. Now, it is completely possible that that round gets stuck and your chamber gets held not fully open, or the round gets jammed in there. So what you have to do at that point is you have to unjam it, by pulling the slide back and load the next one, and then boom. Now, doesn't sound like a big deal, but adrenaline in that situation, it's just the ifs are there. Now, am I saying they're a bad weapon to carry? No. They work. They do what they're supposed to, but if they do jam, there's a problem. And, you can do it like that, or if, you fire the first round, you miss your target, and when it goes to eject the empty shell, your slide goes forward just a little, too quickly, and it's wanting to load one shell, the other shell's wanting to come out, it'll jam it, and you have to sit there and unjam it, and it's just not fun. But, there's risk in everything. So that moves on to my personal favorite. Once again, it's unloaded. I'm not going to point it at the camera because I don't want nobody freaking out. But there's nothing in there. There's nothing in the chamber. So with a revolver, and I have a bias towards revolvers. I do love my revolvers. With a revolver, you pull it, and you can cock the hammer, right? Or if you pull the trigger, and I know you can see that hammer coming back. You pull it all the way back, it'll fire. So when you cock the hammer, you actually can steady your shot to make a more accurate shot. But in a self-defense situation, when the adrenaline is pumping, you're just going to want to pull the trigger. When you pull it out, you put it on target. You're trying to get that shot off before any harm can come to you. Now, great, and this is the great thing about a revolver to me. If you pull that trigger and it does not fire, you just pull the trigger again. The next round will go off. If that round will go off, you just keep pulling the trigger until something happens. Now, they don't jam. It's very hard to jam, but with every gun, there's a trade-off. And with revolvers, the main thing being is that it only holds 6 rounds. So, with 6 rounds, and it takes a while to reload it. Now, you can get a speed reloader, but once again, the adrenaline pumping, you're gonna be shaking. It's gonna be very hard to reload. So you have 6 rounds to get the job done. Now, it is doable, but it's all about muscle memory. The more you practice with this, the better you get. And then you have, when it comes to semi-automatics, I have my personal favorite, the 1911. Now, my great-grandfather carried one of these in World War II in Germany, and he loved his, and I love mine. But this one shoots a 45 ACP. Now, the 45 ACP is a big round. It is very big. It is a huge chunk of lead, and it is going to take a huge chunk of meat off of anything you hit with it. But the recoil is significantly more than the other 2 mentioned rounds, or other 3 mentioned rounds. My bad. So, but you can get a 1911 in a 9mm. I like them, and I like them for, what they are. There's a nostalgia to it, but they also have one extra feature that I like. All right, once again, unload it, nothing in the chamber. Okay, so it's got the same thing like the other one. Pull it and it loads. Now, 1911s come with 2 safeties. I don't trust the safety, but for your mind, if it'll put someone at ease, more power to you. So it's got this one right here. When pushed up, the hammer can't drop. Okay, now that's all well and good, but it also has this on the end, which is your thumb safety. So you put the webbing of your hand on there. So watch this. Without that depressed, it won't fire. Now, like I said, I don't trust safeties. Safeties are what get people killed. They get a little too comfortable with it, and that's how accidents happen. And I'd rather not, bet my life on something that can fail. So, now, in the argument of semi-automatics versus revolvers, each one has, their do's and don'ts. And a lot of people go, well, semi-automatics got more ammunition, holds more ammo, and it's quicker to reload. If it jammed, I can unjam it. You know, that's not that complicated. With enough practice, you can do it real quickly and keep moving forward. Whereas the revolver only carries 6 rounds. Reloading it takes time, and you know, that's a big argument with it. But I have one thing that kind of sets the bar for me towards a revolver. And this is where people are going to get, and this is where I'm going to get a little bit of anger towards, you know, people are going to be upset about this one. But, you know, I'm doing it safe, and, you know, we'll see what happens, right? The gun is unloaded, just to show everybody one more time there's nothing in the chamber. So with the gun cocked, all right, if you were attacked by someone, most of your self-defense shootings happen very close, and I think it's within like 3 to 7 yards. 3 to 7 yards, not a lot. You can cover 3 to 7 yards relatively quickly. And if someone is trying to harm you, you know, they can run up on you, knock you down, be on top of you. And, you know, in the situation of a woman and a grown man, a big man, you know, that's very easy for him to knock you over and try and grab you. All right, when someone is on top of you and you have a weapon, your first instinct, and you don't have a lot of room to move, is to stick it to, you know, into them and fire. But this is where I have the issue with the semi-automatics. If the gun is out of chamber, so if you stick it to them, right, that gun is out of chamber and will not fire. Whereas with a revolver, and once again, unloaded, the revolver, they're on top of you, stick it to them, boom. There's nothing stopping that hammer from doing what it's supposed to do. And if you stick a gun to someone's rib cage and pull the trigger, it is going to create a massive hole. Okay, it's just going to open up. You know, the wound diameter is going to be a lot bigger. Now you are going to get sprayed with pieces of that individual. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put it, but that is something to think about. You know, the main issue with this is in modern society, we want to assume everyone is play. You don't want to assume everyone is a predator out to get you, and that's how Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer got away. They didn't look, or they got away for so long is they did not look intimidating. They were not intimidating looking individuals. You know, they were sheep's and wolf's clothing, and that's how they got away. So, you know, you didn't really suspect that from them. So when it comes to reactionary time, I would rather have every little bit that I can. And with that revolver, me personally, I feel, you know, it suits me better for that situation. Now, I'm a 5'8", 220 pounds, and I ain't very pretty, so I don't see a bunch of guys wanting to run and jump on top of me and, you know, whatever. But in the case of a smaller frame woman, you know, a lot of those predators want to use their size advantage to do, you know, to grab hold of the situation. And I want you to take every single aspect of any kind of advantage they have away. And I feel like the revolver kind of fits that status quo. Semi-automatics could work, but you just have to remember not to stick it to them. And this is not a how-to video on how to, you know, shoot somebody. This is just information, so don't, yeah, you know, full disclaimer on that one. All right, so, you know, when it comes down to the argument of the 38 versus 9mm, okay, 9mm plus P ammo is, you know, it's good ammo. 38 is good ammo. Like I said, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, if all I've got is a slingshot with ball bearings to save my life, to deter an attacker, I will shoot every single one of them ball bearings and throw that damn slingshot at that person. Excuse my French on that one, I apologize. So, you know, and you just have to, go out and shoot and get a feel for stuff and see what fits you best. And with that being said, when it comes down to a good weapon, a good firearm, sidearm to carry, you also need a good holster. Okay, now I think Serpa makes these. I got it off Amazon, and I believe this is the one for the 9mm. So this clips onto your belt. You can put your shirt over it, and you can get smaller ones, but I like these because when it's in there, you have a finger trigger lock. You have to depress that in order to pull the firearm out. So somebody can't walk up behind you and grab it and pull it out if they don't know what a holster is. They have to know to press that and pull it out. And that still gives you a second to react, you know, and break away. So, you know, and they make them for revolvers as well. So that's something to think about. Find something that fits you comfortably. Find something that you can shoot. And the rounds matter, and then they don't matter. Okay, now I wouldn't want to bring, like, they do make compact 22s, but I don't want to put my life, you know, I don't want to, if I have the option of anything other than a 22 for self-defense, I'm going to take it. Now, a 22 will kill at close ranges. You know, a lot of people have been killed with a 22, but 22s are also notorious for the fact of you pull the trigger, the striker hits the back of it, and it doesn't go off. It's a rim fire. Center fires perform a lot better. That's why most of the calibers you see are center fire. You don't see any rim fire military weapons. They're all center fire. So, you know, but once again, it's your preference, your choice. You have to weigh your options on what you think will fit you best. Now, the Taurus, I believe, makes a G2X 9mm. I think it retails at like $230. It holds 13 rounds. It's a semi-automatic. It's small. You know, that's a good recommendation. I've heard good things on it. I like my Taurus. I believe this is the ultralight. I don't know the exact model number on it, but it is very light, and I think I've seen that one for $300 at Academy Sport. So you can look around, you can find, and like I said in the other video, go to these shops, get a feel for it, pick it up, see how it feels in your hand, and you can go from there. Ammunition, hollow points. For self-defense, hollow points. You know, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to expand. It's just like, you know, with hunting, you want some expansion. Get a good pistol that fits in your hand. You like the size. You are pretty well certain that you can comfortably carry this firearm. And then a good holster. Good holster. You can get. They have the ones that tuck in your belt. That one doesn't have the lock, but it hides it perfectly. You just put it in your belt, put your shirt over it, you're good. You know, nobody will know you have it. You won't scare nobody walking around with something hanging off your hip. I made that mistake with a 357 Magnum with a 6-inch barrel, and everybody noticed. And yeah, people were concerned. And you know, with the current society we have, you know, some people don't like firearms, and you know, I get it, respect it, but you know, that's your right. You do what you feel is right for you. 380, 38 special, 9mm, all good rounds. 22, it'll work in a pinch. 45 will work, but it has more recoil than any of the other ones. I mean, a 44 Magnum will work, but it's going to break your wrist. Maybe not literally, but it's going to feel like it. It's got a good bit of to it. So with all that being said, I think I'm close to, I think I'm over 15 minutes right now. So I'm going to wrap it up. Any questions, concerns, you know, message me. I'll try and answer them. And, you know, just, I'll give you this last little bit on the takeaway. Do your research. Figure out what fits you and what you think that you can comfortably, you know, do what is necessary with. You know, don't walk around, you know, and don't play with them either, obviously. You know, showing y'all the guns tonight, you know, everything's unloaded. I know it's unloaded. I take safety very seriously. I'm not going to sit here and play with loaded rifles. You know, that's how accidents happen, and I want to live a very long life. But going back to the point, find you something. You can go to any gun store. People, you know, there's Backwoods Armory over in Brooklet, Georgia. They're a favorite of mine. I like going over there. They have no problems with showing you. You hold it, get an idea, get a feel for it, see if it fits comfortable in your hand, and just do your research, comfortability, and practice, 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 practice. And I will see y'all in the next one. Good night.